Joe Rogan, see this? You might just want to like you. That's like hey, one up for him. This is not sponsored by Raw Codes, but if they voted to like Raw Cone Black, so they can't. Peace. Welcome to channel 720 Astro and the division of Dual Light Astrology. This is another video. Hello, peace, welcome. I am Shannon Natal, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to the next video. And this is going in Joe Rogan, right? And then you see the title, it's the dual evolution of and the strings eternal. And this video was inspired by a clip that I seen on Twitter with a noun called X, with a noun called it's ever Twitter. With this video, it's things like talking horoscopes and maybe like ancient techniques or something like that. Go find a video and look at it again. It's pretty dope. That people are starting to want to inquire more and rather just about sun signs. Knowing my those horoscopes are great. But those that know and study, there's layers upon layers. So today's video, so I'll be going over a few things. So let's see. So, let me find, that's that. Alright, alright. Let's just get on down to get down. Right. So today's presentation, I'm gonna try to keep it decently moderate, maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes. Part one, we'll be looking at conscious and unconscious Holy Trinity. It's a big three, big six. Big six. The big six did ultra. Full seven. So this will be like full 14 big three on the ascendant, sun, moon, and ascendant for the constant and unconscious chart. Part two, we'll get into dual light sect, so ancient time technique, one of the main foundations, and then part three, we'll look at a couple of public life events to see how decisions, ways to show themselves, tensions arise, all these different things that are going on in our internal universe, internal world while we're doing this external simulation, world realities, or whatever you want to call it. What we're dealing with in here while we're also dealing with reflection and those around us dealing with filing, getting into some final words. So, part one, conscious and unconscious. Same three, big three, data. Then in Taurus. And this is the areas of Greece, so it's firm, strong, stable, but it's to it. And this ascending Taurus ruler ruled by Venus, Venus and Earth is retro. And the fifth house. So Venus is in her fall. For those that don't know, Venus was of course Libra, strongest in Seas, TV, Virgo. Next, Sun and Leo in the fourth. So this is creative fire, loyalty, whatever keywords that you would like to throw. Leo, this is the fourth house, the home. Whether it says physical home, you like to say, or inner foundation. There's a sense of fire, creative, creativity. Next, moon in Libra and the sixth. Oh, so there's a sense of bringing, balance, creativity, and art to the daily routine, or maybe as a sense of service, whether it's just to oneself, something to keep it together, or sharing that with others. Right. And with that, on the Libra being an Aries degree, it always seems like there's a kind of reflection between, um, working with others and then also self-driven type thing when it comes to, emotional comfort, nurturing, purity. That on more than 6 houses, maybe like a good run, good balance, or maybe some kind of artist. So when it comes to the unconscious training, right? Ascendant is Aries, Gemini, a ruler, or as in Libra, retrograde, Cancer degree, 6th house. So this house, Libra is like peacemaker, civil, wanting to work with others rather, where it's naturally ruled in Aries, the opposite, it's more self-driven. So in retrogrades, more internal ordeal rather than, but if it's not just like understood, then one maybe do energy, it's like justice in the home, and so maybe it's justice to others until one can see to reflect that it can be to help others just do better. In 6 houses. Next, Taurus. First house, the ego expression, right? So it's this inner, this someone say, says mask, what I really just like to say is like deeper part of yourself that one might not always actually be where some Taurus is all about security and foundation. And with that being an Libra, that's once again like that with the Newton rule. So he's wanting to find peace and harmony how one expresses himself. Right? Joe expresses himself like ego versus that Sun Leo, which there's always going to be this inner tension between security and expression, between um, just finding a balance between that to express and to that energy between which show consciously knows doing when you now we're looking at the moon in Gemini. All right, and the second house. And this is in Sagittarius. This is once again opposite. Gemini and Sagittarius are one. Look back at Libra. Well, his moons are always kind of in a reflection sign. So the moon Gemini always can be a conversation, information, just the duality when it comes to it, which sometimes could be mm, maybe a little mentally what, frying if one isn't able to like find balance in it, but just reading, reading, dissecting information of all different things, culture, and very fitting with it being Paris degree. It's always looking at foreign cultures, also things that he hasn't normally been into, but open to being to look at the bigger picture rather than just information. And local, so it's trying by signs, unconscious, or in most information, to be sure to balance peace in other different ways. Share that to nurture others. Like, hey, this is what I stated. This is what I found. The unconscious sun and ascendant, Aries, or ascendant in Aries, sign of Taurus is looking to man take that moon energy and foundations and rest upon that. Ascendant in Aries, so now it's being filtered through the conscious and stable, uh, firm expression and energy. he has researched it, and the whole this, local time, and I've also been able to now grow that globally, and at some point be able to have a whole around space for understanding information to, really, like I said, being that Gemini, Sagittarius, Libra, Aries energy. Right? So, in just recapping that, the conscious sun in Leo versus unconscious sun in Taurus, unspoken values being tested through fire, self values and worth, once again, that an inner tested through that fire also. Conscious moon leader versus unconscious moon Gemini. Childlike curiosity to learn both sides and sharing with. And finally, the conscious ascendant in Taurus versus the unconscious Aries ascendant. Stable moving forward, inner fire. Next, part two. Let's get into the dual light sect, bridging the ancient ways in modern time. In ancient astrology, every birth belongs to either the day or the night. And this isn't just about the sun being up and down, it's also about what the soul works best. So the day births, these are solar births. These are for us more help, clarity, visible leadership. Night birth is dealing with the lunar side, more inward, more receptive, like, swish, emotional, hit strength. So Joe Rogan was born at night, and even in his unconscious imprints, that chart is also a night, so double night chart, double night, a night. Um, and this shows, or it really could mean, Joe personally that as both as conscious and unconscious. It's a thrive quiet, thrive collective. Mm. He might not sneak the spotlight either. And those one like others project on him. In his inner world, he's showing he could still know and show that this is just through mastery, reflection, deep repetition, anything to Venus and Virgo, right? All about organization, perfecting through time, breaking things to the simplest form, and then coming back to the bigger picture to embrace that. Cool. Like I said before, both those conscious and unconscious chart were not. Uh, Speaking about Venus and Virgo, now Jupiter, uh, Mars. We'll also finally look at Saturn to complete the nighttime looking planets. And as I spoke on, once again, that moon being over that conscious chart. I think that was on the Libra. Gotcha. So Jupiter being Leo, it's more expansion, um, of faith of once again coming back to what light one's up, coming to what is done through the heart. Um, so expansion of the heart from things that's done at home that you feel very deeply about. Others might not see or understand, but this is just embrace expanded. Scorpio is good, rulership, and it's a sign that it ruled that carry Scorpio back to sixth house, service self, service to others, health. This is an Aquarius degree, so it's drive. It could be once again doing Aquarian and Scorpion things, right? Hopes, working with others, information. When you think of Aquarius, collective, group, friends, hopes, wishes, dreams, sixth house, and it's reflecting that Saturn Aries sign, which is Saturn 12th is in its joy, even though it's in a sign and really good, which is Libra. So being able to like just explore um, different things that one can control. So Joe might have like can control this, and Mars in the sixth house, but things I can just go with it. Yeah. I was talking about that Mars is Libra and unconscious reflecting the natal Saturn. So there's that reflection of unconscious. So earlier, next Venus third house, when we move into the chart. Venus in Cancer, Jupiter, Mars in Libra, and say once again, Saturn is an Aries still in 12. So it is enjoying just ruling from the unseen. And now we look at this Mars being in Libra that I spoke about earlier. Settlement um, versus just there's a sense of within oneself balance. It would come out very strong and very co-like with that Mars and Scorpio in the sixth, which Aquarius, Cancer. So it's more just like a kind of like a link between the inner foundation, mind moving, Saturn being in that 12th is just, it's just kind of having that knowing like that being only one trusting oneself that, show that, that he'll be good. So next, we'll move into part three, some public life events. We'll look at when the unconscious planet touches and we'll be looking at some windows and when the unconscious lines up with the conscious you know, turn to the stars, you can also just look at the stars and form those neighborhoods is to see behind the lake, eternal, building up, and then reaches the angles and through eternal things. So this is decisions, fate, destiny, will start with unconscious planet, the cause, and then gets to angle. So that angles are ascendant, midheaven, descendant, and human chili. The portals of when the unconscious is one forward is one inner roots. And this is like feel like um, every time a conscious planet reaches a natal angle, the inner world touches that. So in Joe's life, things, well, in everyone's life, moves in different harmonic orbits. And those harmonic orbits show different parts. So Joe, he had the fighter, the entertainer, the teacher. Well, some people, other people, get started out as, let's see, a teacher, then you want it to be a writer, then you want it to be an actor, then you want it to be a humanitarian. Everything is meant to be fair. Some of us it is, some of us it's not. It's the beauty of astrology. It's so vast. It's also very technical. Show each art. Joe, when we look at other people and reflect on our lives, we can reveal the same story. When something unconscious that we do wants to master when it meets the conscious. And why not a master? It might be something that we need to master. Becoming aware of that. And this is showing when evolution comes death is something that one has to work like that, but it's like something we need to do or work on, ignore it, and show until it's all man, now it's like confident. All right. So that's how these different things work over time. So looking at which this is getting into thinking. Every degree of right ascension equals roughly 1 year of symbolic. So distance is unconscious from consciousness, or whether using Yajay Vedic tribal astrology, you're using planets to the influence. In due time, I'll show the formula or explain more into like conscious planet, but for now, you know, well, hmm, well, sound like a frog over there, but I'll just be sharing. So, 1 degree of right ascension or RA is equal to 1 year, 15 degrees, 15 years, 30 degrees, 30 years. This is representative of a Saturn harmonic. So, if two or more time systems, these are transits, solar arcs, secondary progression, or just other historical milestones, they're echoing the same arc, hitting about the same time. This is showing an activation portal. And this is the moment or moments, stretch of time, days, weeks, months, unconscious thought. It seems like everything's clicking for you, or things are lining up, or steps you're taking, or see what's planning back then. I mean, something. All right. So, looking at one of the first events, the Marshall Squad, the ship in Marshall. All right. So, at about 8 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 63 minutes later, right? When it's unconscious moments, Libra, the directions and this shifted into Scorpio. Now, secondary progress, that Mars was still in Libra retrograde. So, with this unconscious Mars now moving that Libra energy into that Scorpio energy, so out of that detriment energy into rulership. Not feeling the best to feeling good and able to move it. But the external wise, risk, still kind of slow and internal justice. So there were some events during the time and leading up until the age of 14 and started training. Um, so, and day back, boom. All right. So at about 13, mm, so at about 13, and the unconscious sun moves to trine that natal midheaven, right? As I had stated earlier, unconscious sun would have been in Taurus. So now it comes to move and trine to this natal midheaven, which is Aquarius. This is around about then around 14, the unconscious Mercury, which is also actually presenting with that sun in Taurus, moves and also is going to trine that natal midheaven. Heck, so, all right, so the ego and expression, all right, stable, firm, finding value internally, that might not have been spoken out or expressed. This was just working within oneself, finding value within his own self worth, or within things that can't nobody give you, right? That just has to be spiritually firm, right? There and now starting to be expressed through the heart. So at about 14, Joe's um Joe's unconscious Mars, as I talked about earlier, also crossed into Scorpio by solar arc. So this is, as I was talking about, looking at that timing layer, making sure, okay, let's say one way, let's make sure we look at least two to three, even four, maybe five different ways just to really be sure to make sure, okay, make sure the timing is coming right. So now with that Mars moving into Scorpio by solar, the inner fighter is being awakened at Libra. So this natal Mars is already moving in the same sign, right? His natal Mars is in Scorpio. Natal Mars in Scorpio. So now that's conscious making a reflection. So when we're looking at unconscious, that is moving at the same time. Those unconscious energies also being reflected. Energy. It's almost kind of process of lightning and thunder and all that energy is coming down forward and boom, it's moving. So it's energy ascension and ascension, right? As being the center point. So now that conscious Mars moving, yeah, in that native Scorpion is now making a trine to that inner conscious Jupiter, which Jupiter. So now this outer drive and the harmony in the teacher and foundation, which is moving in Leo. So this energy is moving internally to external in that flow. So with this, it was faith meeting focus, instinct meeting structure, first ignition of a lifelong discipline. And you might not even realize until later in time. And this is how astrology will show you, really just life in general, but astrology is showing you, kind of giving you awareness to make sense of things at that time that you were learning that you missed. Okay, well now that makes get it. So with this faith meeting focus, instinct meeting structure, it's it. It's the ignition, this lifelong discipline that he learns bit by bit, time by time. And like I said, as we just get that wisdom as we get older. And so now I'm going into phase two, victory and faith expansion. This is 1985, 1986. Um, you can move into the sign of Leo, then moves to join his conscious natal Jupiter and Leo. And then first it will trine the natal Saturn before it actually gets to this Jupiter Leo conjunction, right? So, and then shortly after that, Jupiter trines natal Saturn 14. So, this is like an expansion of this Jupiter Leo and Saturn Aries. So, might be some things are good, some things are not. You're just trying to energy between the teacher and this. Now, Jupiter is hitting this natal Sun in Leo when he's about 19. When it comes to Jupiter, it's to the Sun because they need now in the teacher, Jupiter fuses with the natal sign. Real life during this time, I think there well, I saw that used to do a recap that he had won the U.S. Open Taekwondo championship actually begins teaching about faith, mastery, and self-belief is an urgent. It's urgent. People will become some more of that stated and just do like science, um, faith, or faith, vibration, trust, and belief in the unseen. All these things can merge and be one in the future mind. So, to get into an example, for this is on Saturn, right? 8 degrees Aries. The right ascension is 8 degrees 20 minutes, and the natal ascendant is 25 degrees Taurus. And the right ascension mark is 35 degrees. So a little bit of math here. I might include it, might not. I might not even want to get into all. But just the symbolic age of it is about 27 and a half, roughly. And this was a UFC event, the stand up transition, and this is discipline. So with Saturn's 27-degree arc equals roughly about 27 years. And that's when the unconscious Saturn, which is the training, mastery, self-mastery, or self-exertion, is touching the ascendant, which is beauty foundation. And this is kind of about roughly sextile. We look at years and degrees, roughly about sextile for a Saturn return. This is why discipline following that visibility. Now, looking at the Venus example, birth of public charm and visibility. So, unconscious Venus is at 1 degree Cancer, that third house, math here, right? And then it's going to make a reflection, a position with midheaven Aquarius, right? So, now 214 years, a little bit too long for one lifetime. And this, I don't know, I don't think, so I have spring times like replica. So I'm gonna call him Joe Rogan Reeves, anything, but but we'll use fractional harmonics and break it down into years to get back full cycles and shots of years we can use. Um, 71 years, 54, and about 36. So when we look at 36 years and about 2001, the fifth and about 53.6, which is about 54, which shows the 71 years. This will be more of a later maturity, so this might be more of like a kind of consolidation in the creative legacy sometimes, and maybe what's going to be done from here now, to the future, or there's like some digital thing or vault that's able to, hold that legacy down. So when that Venus moved into Leo, made a reflection of that natal midheaven Aquarius, the collective mind, the internet, you know, TVs and all, which deals with, Leo, right? Because both with the star signs, what had been private humor and compassion now turns into a broadcast. And this is how you see fear fight. Well, it's always that fan saying, fear, for you. Cool. Man, I got to do like that. And that was it's kind of like a few examples. There's so much more to be looked at. If I even want to like go back and let's say, well, let's look at Joe Rogan Soul Return. Let's see anything else, but just to see how ancients used and map these technologies and science can merge together, which will be in that feels time. Pressure can bust or pressure can you get the bus pipes, you get a new one. Maybe something old needs to go instead of worrying about that mystery and be able to flow with life. So that was kind of a that was a reading. I went into its whole Trinity or its big three, conscious and unconscious. So to kind of bring that merge, and that reading is on the stand store. And this is just to bridge the gap between what we do and what we do without even knowing. Sometimes people can show up without knowing events happening without seeing. Sometimes it seems to test us, or it seems that we need to work with something, or it's just, yeah, this is just place, or this is something that we need to reflect on. And that's the thing here, because it's always been mapping and spiral, and this shows the ancients always talked about so the solo so within goodness. As of a solo within so within so Mercury retrograde, double triple up my Mercury retrograde grounding. But that's what the beauty of astrology is, able to show this energy, show this reflection of, the stars of just always just beautiful to understand the physics and true religion and spirituality, what they call it. Look at celebrity actors, think in my notes and show what I pretty interesting when looking at different just like harmonics, things play out and things map out and show. Some people are still huge or might even hit like that. But I say have to say, yes, shout out to Joe. If you ever see this video, you can contact me, or everyone else like this video, comments, and I can do a like live Q&A. We can talk about signs are, hands in your hands always between what you want to do, but it's always like the sun. It was kind of like tugging and pulling, wanting to be expressed or wanting to be. That is the beauty and such the richness and the head of it, and being the head of all the dual light system, and presenting this. Well, to see us, I thank you, and I hope you enjoy this. Until the next video, I'll see you. Everybody, club to you. Get it. Get it. Feel.